Rain lashed against the grimy windowpane, mirroring the tempest raging within her. Empty bottles littered the floor, a testament to another night lost to oblivion. Her reflection stared back, a hollow-eyed stranger in the cracked mirror. She barely recognized the gaunt, defeated figure. Despair, heavy and suffocating, clung to her like a shroud. Each labored breath was a victory against the crushing weight of her existence. The life she once dreamed of, filled with laughter and promise, lay shattered at her feet, a cruel mockery of what could have been.
What's the point?
She whispered, her voice raspy and broken. The words echoed in the silence of the room, a chilling testament to her sheer hopelessness. The past haunted her, a relentless tormentor refusing to relinquish its grip. Memories, once vibrant and full of life, now taunted her with their bittersweet ache, the warmth of her mother's embrace, the infectious laughter of her brother, all gone, leaving behind an unfillable void. Drugs and alcohol had promised solace, a temporary escape from the crushing reality of her life. They had become her closest companions, numbing the pain, blurring the edges of her grief. But the relief they offered was fleeting, leaving her emptier and more lost than before.
Each hit, each swig, was a desperate attempt to outrun the ghosts of my past.
Yet, they pursued her relentlessly, their spectral fingers tightening around her throat, squeezing the life out of her. The line between despair and oblivion blurred. Giving up seemed not just easy, but inevitable. Why fight the current that threatened to pull her under? What was left for her in this desolate wasteland she called her life? She stumbled across the room, her movements clumsy and uncoordinated. The medicine cabinet stood ajar, a silent invitation to end the pain, to finally find peace. Her hand trembled, hovering over the assortment of pills within.
This is it. The final curtain rise. One last act of defiance against a world that had shown me nothing but cruelty.
A single tear escaped, tracing a lonely path down her cheek as she reached for the bottle that held her answer.
Hold on there, darling. Take a deep breath and just hold on. Ain't no problem too big we can't solve together. You and me, we'll find a way.
The voice, deep and resonant, sliced through the fog of her despair, cutting through the darkness that had enveloped her heart. It was followed by a firm hand on her arm, gently pulling her away from the precipice, offering a lifeline when she needed it most. She looked up, startled, into a pair of kind, weary eyes that seemed to hold the weight of the world, yet still glimmered with an indomitable spirit. Those eyes spoke of countless battles fought and won, of hope that refused to die. He was an older man, his face etched with the lines of a life well lived, his presence radiating a quiet strength that seemed to fill the room. His very being was a testament to resilience and perseverance. He wore a worn leather jacket and a faded baseball cap, but it was his eyes that held her captive. Those eyes, filled with stories untold, were a beacon of hope in her darkest hour. They were the eyes of someone who had seen darkness but had chosen to embrace the light, someone who had faced the abyss and emerged stronger.
Who are you? She asked, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and curiosity.
Name's John, he replied, his voice steady and reassuring. And I'm here to tell you, darling, that it ain't over yet, not by a long shot. We've got a lot of fight left in us. Together we'll face whatever comes our way. We'll stand strong, side by side, and we'll make it through. You have my word on that, I promise.
But there's nothing left, she whispered, her voice choked with despair. I've lost everything, everyone. My dreams, my hopes, they all seem so far away now.
John shook his head slowly, his gaze unwavering. He could see the pain in her eyes, but he also saw something else. Now that's where you're wrong, darling. You haven't lost everything, not by a long shot. You see, you're still here, you're still breathing. And as long as you're breathing, there's hope. And that means there's still a fight left in you, a fight that only you can win. He held up a calloused finger, emphasizing his point. First off, you got a spirit that's been tested but not broken. I can see it in your eyes, that fire, even though it's dwindled down to embers. It's still there, waiting to be reignited. Don't let it go out, darling. Fan those flames. Nurture them until they blaze again. You got a strength in you that most folks only dream of, a strength that comes from deep within. He raised a second finger, his eyes never leaving hers. Second, you got folks out there who care, people who want to see you succeed, folks you ain't even met yet, but who are rooting for you, folks like me and others who see your potential. We believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. And sometimes, that's all you need to keep going, a reason to believe.
John's words, spoken with such quiet conviction, resonated deep within her soul. They were not just words, they were a lifeline, a beacon in the darkness that had enveloped her for so long. It was as if he had reached into the depths of her despair and ignited a spark of hope that she thought had long since extinguished. This spark, though small, began to grow, warming the cold corners of her heart.
And third, he continued, his voice softening, you got a story to tell. A story that is uniquely yours, filled with moments of pain and joy, of loss and love. A story of pain and loss, sure, but also a story of resilience, of courage. It's a testament to the human spirit, to the strength that lies within each of us, waiting to be discovered. Your story can help others, darling. It can be a guiding light for those who are lost, a source of strength for those who feel weak. It can give them hope when they need it most. Your experiences, your struggles, and your triumphs can inspire others to find their own path to healing.
He paused, his eyes twinkling with unshed tears. The weight of his words hung in the air, heavy with meaning and emotion.
Don't let your story end here, darling. Let it be one of redemption, of triumph over adversity. Let it be a story that you are proud to tell. Let it be one of redemption, of triumph over adversity. Let it be a testament to your strength, to your ability to overcome even the greatest of challenges. You got a second chance, a chance to make things right. Don't waste it. Embrace it with both hands and let it guide you to a better future.
His words struck a chord deep within her. They echoed in her mind, challenging her to see beyond her pain, to envision a future filled with possibilities. A flicker of determination, fragile yet persistent, ignited in her eyes. It was a small flame, but it was enough to light the way forward. Maybe, just maybe, he was right. Maybe her story wasn't over yet. Maybe there was still a chapter left to write, a chapter filled with hope and new beginnings. Maybe there was still a reason to fight, a reason to choose life over oblivion. As she gazed out the window, she felt a sense of peace wash over her. She knew that the journey ahead would be difficult, but for the first time in a long time, she felt ready to face it. The grip of despair, while not entirely broken, had loosened its hold. A sliver of light pierced through the darkness, illuminating a path, however treacherous, out of the abyss. She wasn't sure where it led, but for the first time in a long time, she felt a glimmer of hope.
What do I do? She asked, her voice barely a whisper.
John smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. One day at a time, darling. One step at a time. It ain't gonna be easy, but I'll be here, walking alongside you every step of the way. He stood up, extending a hand towards her.
She hesitated for a moment, then took his hand, her grip surprisingly strong. As she rose, she felt a surge of gratitude wash over her, a newfound appreciation for the simple gift of being alive. The rain had stopped, and the first rays of dawn painted the sky with hues of pink and gold. It was a new day, a fresh start. The road ahead would be long and arduous, but she wouldn't be traveling it alone. She had found a reason to hope, a reason to fight, and in that, she discovered a strength she never knew she possessed. Her journey of redemption had just begun. Remember, as long as there's life, there's hope. Subscribe for more soul-lifting words.